because they were known as warriors, uh, skilled in war and weaponry. I'm gonna prove that. Okay, it says Gad, which means troop. It says seventh son of Jacob by Zilpah, Leah's handmaid and full brother of Asher. The tribe of the descendants of Gad, a prophet during the time of David, appeared to have joined David when in the whole reappears in connection with the punishment for taking a censer, also associated in the arrangement of the musical service of the house of God. Alright, but this is what we're looking for right here. The first two, which is because the third one is talking about a particular prophet that was called Gad. Okay, but this is what we're looking for. The seventh son of Jacob by Zilpah, Leah's handmaid and full brother of Asher, and the tribe descended from Gad. Okay, now let's go into the history of Gad real quick, so you understand how you got that name. Okay, this is Genesis. Let's lock it. Genesis 30:9. It says, when Leah saw that she had left barren, she took Zilpah her maiden and gave her to Jacob to wife. So Zilpah was more like a concubine. Okay, all right, because Leah and Rachel were the wives, the main two wives of Jacob, and then when they couldn't bear children, the Lord, you cut off their womb so they couldn't have children. What they did, because they was in competition, they gave their handmaids, which were not of Hebrew descent. All right, they were heathens, but that just cuts this madness, because you got also this madness coming out, which I'll probably do a short lesson on that later on, about that mixed seed thing, and that certain other tribes can't be Israelites because they're they try to say that both parents have to be of Israelite descent, which that's not true. The where it counts is in the father, because Jacob came out of Gad came out of Jacob, making him an Israelite. Okay, not because his mother was of the other nations. So it says, Genesis 30:9, when Leah saw that she had left barren, she took Zilpah her maid and gave her Jacob to wife. She was a secondary wife, which would be like a concubine. Okay, and Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. Okay, and Leah said, a troop cometh, and she called his name Gad. So when at the time of the birth, when it was time, for the child to be circumcised, that's when they usually give the child the name. Leah saw a troop coming, a band of soldiers, warriors coming, and when she saw it, she named the child Gad. Alright, now let's get in about how the descendants of Gad operate. Okay, now this is First Chronicles chapter 5 verse 18. It says, the sons of Reuben and the Gadites, okay, which are the descendants of Gad, all right, the half tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with the bow, and skillful in war, were 440,760 that went out to war. So we focusing on Gad, all right, but they said of the Gadites, they were known to be valiant men. Okay, all right, and men able to bear buckler and sword, and to shoot with the bow, and skillful in war. Okay, all right. Now with that, let me get this real quick. I'll come back to this. Now this is from the book James Adair, which I'm gonna put the link so the brothers can have it, or whoever watched this video, they can read the book for themselves, or find the page and look up the information, either to do sit downs or just to have to read. This is the history of the American Indians by James Adair. Okay, I'm gonna hop to the point. Now, this is him describing the attributes of the people, the natives, and their characteristics. Okay, this is starting on page 4. It says, as the American Indians are of a reddish or copper color, meaning they're like a brown with a slight red tint. Okay, which for personal sake, I'm not gonna put a picture of my father up there, but he's a very dark skinned man, but he has like a red hewish color to him. Okay, all right, but they mainly natives are of a copper color. So in general, they are strong, well proportional in body and limbs, surprisingly active, okay, nimble and hardy in their own way of living. They are ingenious, witty, cunning, and deceitful, very faithful indeed to their own tribes, but privately dishonest and mischievous to Europeans and Christians. Because when you read the history, you know, you find out that the white man and them so-called Christians or Puritans, they're a bunch of demons, man. Okay, so they didn't deal with them well. They were supplanting them, or they was just straight up going to war with them. It says they're being honest and harmless to each other, maybe through the fear of resentment and reperso. I think I said it right, which is unavailable and the craft of any injury. It says they are very close and retentive of their secrets. Never forget injuries. Okay, which is true. Okay, all right, which a lot of our people have forgotten the injuries of the so-called white man that he did towards the Native Americans, or even to our brothers and stuff, the Negroes and the Latinos. All right, but you are never to forget that. Okay, they never forget injuries, revengeful of blood to the degree of destruction. That's where they came up with that. Oh, they're savages and stuff, because when you read the history, most of the times when the natives will go to war or have these so-called massacres of the settlers or travelers, or go to war with these militiamen, it was out of retaliation of what they did to their people, so they were just doing it back unto them. Okay, it says they are timorous and consequently cautious, very jealous of encroachments from their Christian neighbors, and likewise content with freedom and every turn of fortune. They are possessive of strong comprehensive judgment, can form surprisingly crafty schemes, conduct them with equal caution, silence, and address. They admit none but distinguished warriors and old beloved men into their councils. Okay, where am I at? Let me skip down some. Here we go. Salakia. Here's the point right here. This is on page 5 of the History of the American Indian. It says the men are experts in the use of firearms, and shooting the bow, and throwing the feather dart and the tomahawk into the flying enemy. Now I can say this because I know this for a fact that before they had so-called school shootings and not, down here in South Carolina, they used to have something in middle school where you had to choose between hunter's ed or boating license. Get your boating license. Well, I don't own no boat, and I don't really like going on the boats like that. So I took hunter's ed. Now, hunter's ed, we had to learn, about rifles, shotguns, and all that stuff that Esau be into. But the beautiful thing was at the end of, you take the test, whatever, you get to go to the shooting range, and you get to shoot these what they call them, skeets. I think that's what they call them. The little things where they say pull, and they fling out this disc, and you try to shoot it with the gun. Okay, first time shooting, I hit 3 out of 5, which is pretty good. And then I remember we went to some camp, and we had to shoot. They was teaching us how to shoot with the bow and arrow. Now this is the first time I ever shot the bow and arrow, but it was really everybody's first time. But I was the only one that was hitting. I hit the bullseye twice, and the inner circle close to the bullseye, I hit it uh, 3 times, but I didn't miss none of the targets. Now the other guys, which they were of Judah and stuff, they was missing everything, and they was shocked that I was able to hit the target like that. But you know, if you do the history, like on certain tribes like the Apache or whatnot, they were like extreme experts at shooting the bow. Alright, just like the scripture says. So they said the men are experts in the use of firearms and shooting the bow and throwing the feather dart, the tomahawk, into the fleeing enemy. Okay? It says they resemble the lynx, which is a giant cat, with their sharp, penetrating black eyes, and are exceedingly swift of foot. Especially in long chases, they will stretch away through the rough woods by the bare track for 200 or 300 miles in pursuit of a fleeing enemy with continuous speed and eagerness of a snack pack of bloodhounds till they shed blood. Okay, so let me get this scripture real quick. Okay, so let me read this one again, and then I'm gonna get the other one. All right, so it says First Chronicles chapter 5 verse 18. Salaki. It says the sons of Reuben and the Gadites and the half tribe of Manasseh, of valiant men, okay, men able to bear butler and sword and to shoot with the bow, skillful in war, were 40,700 threescore that went out to war. Okay, so they were skillful in shooting in the bow, just like it said in the history. Let me get this. This is First Chronicles 12:1. It says, now these are they that came to David in Ziklag, where he yet kept himself close because of Saul the son of Cush, and they were among the mighty men and helpers of war. Okay, all right. Which this chapter alone proves that the house of David had all the tribes, because you had men from all the tribes that sided with David and that chose to the Lord put the spirit on them to go with David, and they were his mighty men. They all was not all of the mighty men that was with David were of Judah, just of Judah. You had the other tribes as well. Okay, it says they were armed with bows and could use both right hand and left hand in hurling stones and shooting arrows out of a bow, even Saul's brethren of Benjamin. Okay, so the guys that were with David, they were mighty men or valiant men, same thing, and helpers of war. Okay, now this is what it said about the Gadites. This is First Chronicles 12:8. It said of the Gadites, there separated themselves unto David and to the whole, to the wilderness, men of might, and men of war fit for the battle, that could handle shield and butler, whose faces were like the faces of lions, and were as swift as the roes upon the mountains. Now, when you look that word up for faces, look it up real quick for time, because I don't want this video to be too long, because I want to get into the thing. When you look up that word for faces, it's Strong's Hebrew 738 Araya. It means lion, pictures or images of lions. Now, it's almost like a physical trait amongst the Gadites. They have faces, like we read right here. It said that it says they resemble the lynx, which is a giant feline cat. Okay, with their sharp, penetrating black eyes, and are exceedingly swift of foot. Okay, especially in long chases, they would stretch away through the rough woods by bare track for 2